Hey guys, welcome to the tutorial on coding challenges. The coding challenge we're going to be working on today is find the plan. And I'm just going to first show you how to first find the coding challenge itself. So we're just going to go under the JavaScript unit and scroll down a bit, and you should see a bunch of coding challenges right on your left, right? And we're going to click the one that we'd be working on today would be find the plan. And we're just going to click it, and it should download a zip file right here. We're going to open this zip file and open the file down here, and we should see these two documents. Since we're going to be working on the implementation today, we're going to be opening this practice document. This correct document is also there for your reference if you need help, for the solution of the problem itself, and you want to quickly see or get some inspiration on how to really solve this problem. But since we're working on the implementation today, we're going to be opening this practice file right here. So we're going to open that in Visual Studio Code, and we should see something like this. Okay, let's just examine the document, see what type of information we have access to right now. And as you can see, we have this huge array of plants, different type of plants, and these are actually JSON objects where we're able, or just objects in general, where we're able to see that they have different type of properties, which are common name, a scientific name, sun type, image URL, description, so on and so forth. And there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of plants we can work with here. So we're going to scroll down to see what this function is all about. So we know that we're going to be using the dot filter in order to filter the plants array with a name parameter, okay, which is pretty important. So in simple terms, what we're trying to do is we're going to be given a name, such as right here, tulip, and based on this name, we're going to return the description of the flower itself or the plant itself. And that's what we have to do. And in order to achieve this, what we're going to be using is the dot filter method. Okay, so let's just get started with how to implement this. Okay, I'm just going to delete this because we know what to do. Okay, we're going to start off by evaluating this right here. So we see that we're sending this parameter into this function called flower description. In order for us to even access this parameter to begin with, we need to call it here. We need to make it an argument. So we're going to call it, just for simplicity, we're going to just call it plant name. Okay, and now we know that, okay, we need to be given a plant name in order for this function to even work. Okay, so we're given the plant name. What do we do with the plant name now? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to first define a new variable. Let's call this a new array. Okay. One thing I would like to quickly point out is if you look through all these plants, there's only one tulip, which is the last one right here. But the problem that we might run into is that with dot filter, what the result is going to yield in is an array. Even if it's just one element, it's going to still be an array. But we don't want an array because our output is actually just a string right here. Okay, so that's something we're going to have to look out for, okay, when we use dot filter. So what we're going to do now is we have access to this huge array, and it's called plants. So we're going to do plants dot filter, and we're going to do opening and closing brackets. Okay, now what do we want? We're going to be calling each element of this array a plant. Okay, and we're going to be like, okay, we're going to have this arrow operator right there, and we're going to say, okay, only filter the plants that, okay, let's just break down what the problem here is. We're given a name, and we want to only return plants that have the same common name as the name we provide. So if we have tulip, we only want plants that have the common name of tulip, right? So what we can do is we're going to create a condition, right? A condition saying that, okay, only return the objects that have the plant name, which is equal or equivalent to this element right here. So we're going to have to access the attributes of this element here. So each index itself. So we're going to say plant. And in order to access the common name, all we got to do is plant dot common name, and it autofills right for us. Okay, so what's going to happen now is it's going to filter and store all the contents in new array. So we're going to say, okay, filter out all the plants in the plants array such that the common name of this plant is the same as this common name right here, the attribute common name itself. Okay, so if we are given tulip, which is going to be stored as plant name, we're saying, okay, plant name should equal the plant's common name. And if it does, keep it as in the filter. That's good. Filter out the ones that do have that condition true. So now what we would expect is an array just of one element, because all of these plants are unique, right? So we only have one element that's called tulip. And we're saying that, okay, we're going to have an array of just one element. Now, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to say we want to access this description only. We don't want the entire plant. We only want the description of the plant. So for simplicity, what we're going to do is we're going to declare a new variable called description right there. And we're going to set that equal to, since it's an array, we need to access the first index of the array, right? And the first element of the array we need to access the first element of the array. And the index of the first element of the array is 0. So how do we access the first element? We just have to do new array, square brackets 0. And now we have access to the first element, okay? And what is it that we want? We're looking for the description of this plant, right? So we're going to have to do dot, and we have a bunch of attributes here, or a bunch of properties, I should say. And we're looking for the description. So we're going to tap enter, and now we're going to have this variable called description that stores the plant's description, right? And now our final step, which is the most important step, we just have to return the description that we stored, okay? So this should be our end product. So now what we should expect is a string that outputs something similar to this, okay? Let's give it a shot. So in order to know if this works, what we have to do is use code runner. So we're going to do Command Shift P, and we're going to click on run code, okay? So I'm just going to drag my picture to the right here and see what the console outputs, okay? Now, this is the output that our function is producing, and this is the output that it should produce, the correct output, okay? So let's compare the outputs. So the first line, okay, it looks like that's correct, right? And we're going to do the same thing for the second line, right? Tall, graceful flowers, blooms all summer, every summer. And that seems to be right. Tall, graceful flowers bloom all summer, every summer. And if we compare the last two, we can see that they're also correct. That means we nailed it. We got it perfect, and our outputs are expected, which means we completed the coding challenge. So that's awesome. Now, I hope this helped, and I hope you guys give it a shot as well. Thank you.